It's time to have a little fun and draft some Chris Ballard era Colts players. Let's get to it, Colts fans.
You are Locked On Colts, your daily Indianapolis Colts podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you all for tuning in and making us your first listen of the day. This is your daily podcast covering your Indianapolis Colts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am Zach Hicks, the most notorious film guy in all of Colts land, according to my typical co-host there, and Jake Arthur. He is out today, but I'm replacing him with Destin Adams, my colleague over at horseshoehuddle.com, the number one newsbreaker that we have over at that site, although our guy Shad also does some great things over there as well. So Destin, welcome to the show. We're going to have some fun today, guys. It's the off season. We're trying to find some ideas for content. And honestly, this idea for a show, it's kind of a goofy one. It probably works more with 3 or 4 people doing it. But since it's only the 2 of us, because we have the time constraints here on this show, we're going to be drafting Chris Ballard era Colts players. Me and Destin go head to head and try to build a better team among Chris Ballard era Colts players. So the way that we're doing this has to be players that played from 2017 to 2022 on the Indianapolis Colts. So under the Chris Ballard era, you are drafting players for that one season, that one season they were. So like if I draft a 2018 TY Hilton, which is a phenomenal TY Hilton season, TY Hilton is off the board, but I just get that 2018 TY Hilton on my team and stuff like that. So it's a little fun way to kind of limit it a little bit and kind of limit that scope. We will be drafting offensive lines as in like the whole unit itself, but defense, it's going to be player by player. What other rules and stipulations? We have a position group thing we're going to reveal at the end and stuff like that, like 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, stuff like that. You guys will be able to catch along, you guys will be able to follow it here. But Destin, since you are my guest on today's show, I'm going to give you the first overall pick. And we're going to do a fixed draft. We're not going to do a serpentine or like a snake draft or anything like that. So you can get the first overall pick. I'll do a second. You'll go third, like stuff like that. So Destin, first overall pick. Are you going to make the obvious pick of taking the quarterback, or are you going to stray from that and go somewhere else?
I'm going to go quarterback just because the nostalgia's here. The last season of Andrew Luck got played in the Chris Ballard era. So I'm going to go ahead and take that 2017-2018 Andrew Luck season where the Colts will go 10-6 and they end up losing in the playoffs to the Kansas City Chiefs, which I was in attendance at in Arrowhead that year.
Wasn't it 2018-2019 though? Was it 2017?
I thought it was 2017-2018 because then he ends up retiring in
2019.
Yeah. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's 2018-2019.
I would say if you want to take 2017 Andrew Luck.
Everyone.
Yeah, if you want to take 2017 Andrew Luck where he wasn't playing, like that's fine by me. But no, we'll give you 2018 Andrew Luck. I'll make it easy on you there.
Injured Andrew Luck in 2017 would be a better option than taking some of the options we saw in 2017. But no, I'm going to go 2018-2019 Andrew Luck, his final season.
All right, so since I'm locked in to taking a different quarterback than Andrew Luck, I'm not going to take quarterback here with my first pick. I'm going to go with a player at a very important position that's probably the best of all the guys at this spot. I'm going to take 2018 TY Hilton with my first pick here. Destin, you're back on the clock now. I take in the top receiver off the board.
Ooh, you go receiver, and I mean, it'll be interesting to see where I go there. Eventually, we're not going to have to go receiver right now. Like Zach said, that's going to get to push that one off for me for a little bit here. I'm going to stay on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor for the 2021-2022 season where he was up for Offensive Player of the Year. You could also call that season of Jonathan Taylor the Indianapolis Colts offense because he just was.
Yep. I love that pick there. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor is a phenomenal player. Getting to my second round selection, though, and because we are taking 2 wide receivers each, I'm going to take the only other decent wide receiver season we have in the last couple of years, and that's going to be 2021 Michael Pittman Jr. So I'm going to be excited to see what wide receiver group you can build after that, but I'm going to go 2021 Michael Pittman Jr. I have my top 2 receivers. I don't have anything else, but I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I was assuming that could happen, but I'm just gonna trust Andrew Luck to make the best of whoever I get. I mean, we saw what he did to Eric Ebron, so
Yeah.
if I can input whoever I want there, and we will be fine. Looking at it here, what I want to go with, I am gonna go offensive line, and I am gonna go with. Between a couple here, I'm gonna go the 2020 Colts offensive line.
Okay.
It was between 2019 and 2020. I'm gonna go 2020.
Okay. I will say, to be honest, they were not in my top 2, which is interesting. And I'll tell you my reasoning at the end when we actually talk more about our picks. So we're going to rush through them a little bit here at the beginning. I'm actually going to go to defense now with my next pick. And I'm going to go with rookie season Shaquille Leonard, 2018 Shaquille Leonard, where he was forcing all those turnovers and took the league by storm, broke the then Colts franchise record for tackles in a season. Give me that playmaker on defense, 2018 Shaquille Leonard.
So technically you'd be getting Darius Leonard.
No. Always Shaquille Leonard. It's just we called him that because he didn't correct us yet. So Shaquille Leonard.
Hey,
Shaquille Leonard.
Hey. Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. Which version of this player do I want to go? The year stipulation makes it very interesting because I've just been going back and forth between a couple. I just end up between 2 or 3 between the same player over and over again. I'm sorry for the delay, everybody. I'm a very indecisive human being. I think I want to go. I'm going to go with DeForest Buckner either way. So let's just say that right now. I'm going to go DeForest Buckner. The year part is just the one that gets a little tricky.
I feel like you got to go 2020.
I don't want another situation.
His first year.
I mean, 2020 is where I'm leaning. I was going back and forth between a couple, but I mean, I think he was more healthy in 2020. So I am gonna go 2020 DeForest Buckner. It was between 2020 and 2021. I was just checking back and forth to kind of see where I wanted to go with it. But I think DeForest Buckner is overall, his peak of that season play is just the best overall defender that the Colts have had during the Chris Ballard era.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I'm going to go with another phenomenal performance by a former All-Pro, actually a former Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to go 2022, a 2022 player, guys. Stephon Gilmore as my corner with my next pick, taking him there on the outside.
I'm shocked you didn't go one of your man crushes on the outside. But statistical, I get it. I just thought the heart of Zach would win out on the DBs more than the head. But you end up going with your head, and I respect that notion. Looking at it here, I think what I want to do is I'm going to stay in the corner world after you go Gilmore. I'm going to go Kenny Moore, but I'm going to go Hard Knocks Kenny Moore, and I'm going to go with the 2021 season.
Yeah, I mean that's the obvious one. After Gilmore goes off the board, you got to take the playmaker that was Kenny Moore in 2021. Now it gets a little more interesting. There's a lot of different ways we could go about it, but I think I am going to go back to the defensive line, and I'm going to take 2019 Justin Houston. 2019 Justin Houston. I believe he had 12 sacks that season for the Colts. Very strong season off the edge. And especially in the Chris Ballard era where there's not many strong seasons off the edge, I feel like this is one guy I need to get here.
Yeah, it definitely limits a few different things. I'm going to go back to the offensive side of the ball, and I'm going to go tight end. And I jokingly brought him up as somebody that Andrew Luck made an important season out of, but it's by far the best tight end season that we've seen in the Chris Ballard era. So I'm going to go the 2018 Eric Ebron. Give me all 13 of those touchdowns.
Yes, that's a good one. I was considering him my last pick because of that production, but you know what? I'm going to take my tight end here just because I just want to have it paired with yours. I'm going to go with 2017 Jack Doyle. Pro Bowl nod for Jack Doyle that season, one of the best blocking tight ends in the league as well. Almost 700 yards receiving and 6 touchdowns. I think that was a phenomenal season for Jack Doyle. But we're at the halfway point in this draft, guys. We're looking pretty good with our teams. We're going to really jump into the rest of this draft and really break it down in the last segment as well. But first, take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets, up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend on betting from anything from the money line to over-under to who you think will hit a home run. All in the app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on the MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get up to $200 back in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. And all you beautiful everydayers out there, we're going to be continuing with our AFC South preview series next week. We're going to have the host from Locked On Texans and the host from Locked On Titans onto the show to talk all about their teams. And if the Colts can really assert them as kind of move up in the division, not the Texans, obviously, but maybe the Titans, we could finally be a big brother to the Titans again. We're going to talk about that all next week. All right, guys, so we're getting to the last half of this draft. Destin has his quarterback in 2018, Andrew Luck. He has his running back in 2021, Jonathan Taylor. He's got his 2020 Colts offensive line. He's got DeForest Buckner from 2020, Kenny Moore in 2021, and then he went back to Old Faithful and Eric Ebron in 2018. Destin, what's your next pick here? Who you got?
I'm going to go back to the defensive side of the ball. This guy is a little bit of a tweener, plays multiple positions, but a guy who plays in the same division still and now wrecks the Colts a little bit. I'm going to go 2018 Denico Autry. Took Buckner on the inside on the line. I'm going to use Autry as my outside, 9.5 sack season. Really love the production we were able to get here. Sadly, the Colts have to face him twice a year now.
Yeah, I feel like pretty much every other pick now, we're getting close to where we're going to be locked in to play it to positions that we have to take. But I think one of the few we have left here is cornerback still, because we each have one corner left that we can take. And now I'm going to pick with my heart, Destin. I'm picking 2021 Rock Ya-Sin. He had a phenomenal season, a very underrated year, despite not really having many turnovers for us. But that's what I got Gilmore for on the other side. He's going to force the turnovers. I got Rock Ya-Sin to lock it up on the backside. So 2021 Rock Ya-Sin.
I was waiting for it. I was. We're pretty much at the area where we're going to be taking repeating positions. So even though I could wait on this guy, I think the season he had last year in the absence of Shaquille Leonard warrants him being the selection here. So I'm going to go Zaire Franklin in 2022. I think he just kind of took over that leadership role on the inside, and we just got to see the best year of Zaire Franklin, and really excited to see what year 2 of that confidence of Zaire looks like.
All right, so here comes my hottest take, my craziest one here, and I want to hear you guys in the comments with this one, because this player only played, I think, 5 games this season, but I want a playmaker at safety. I'm going 2017 Malik Hooker at safety. He had, 3 or 4 picks in those 5 games that he played before tearing his ACL at a really horrible cheap shot. Even if I only get the 6 games out of him, I think it's going to be some good games that I'm going to get out of him. So 2017 Malik Hooker, the one time we saw him live up to that billing as a first-round pick with the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm going to put him down as my safety.
Hey, I can respect it. it'll be interesting to see who you input in the games where he doesn't play. And if you need a tackle in the backfield, he may not be the guy for you. But ball hawk for sure in Malik Hooker. Looking around here at what I want to do, I think I'm going to stay at safety, and I think people may think this is not the right pick, but I think just production-wise and just overall play, even though this guy is going to go down as a one-year Colt, I think Rodney McLeod in 2022 at safety was just such a all-around great player on the inside. Had to move around a little bit because of injuries and the special role that Gus Bradley's defense allows, but I was really pumped by what Rodney McLeod was able to do here in 1 year.
Yeah, he was my second option and probably the safer option. I just wanted to go a little bit risky. Now I'm going to leave my quarterback to the end because I just need the funniness of that, just leaving the quarterback to my very last pick, just so we have a nice sandwich between our quarterback picks. But looking at some other positions I can take here, I think I just need to go with my boy on the defensive line. Now that you took the only other defensive tackle that was viable, I'm going to go 2022 Grover Stewart. Hit his career high in tackles, his career high in sacks. Maybe that career high in sacks means he can be a legit pass rusher for my team. So yeah, 2022 Grover Stewart on my defensive tackle spot.
No, yeah, I think he had to be the pick there. I think he deserved to be a selection on the inside. And once Denico Autry's season's taken out, which again, a tweener, you could have put at either spot. I think Grover Stewart makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go to the other corner spot. This guy has been in the news for the wrong reasons as of late and no longer Colt. He won Isaiah Rodgers in his 3 interception season. And I really like the ability that he showed on the outside that season. So I'm going to go Isaiah Rodgers. There are 2 smaller corners on my unit, though, in Kenny and Isaiah Rodgers.
Yeah, I will say, I think you missed out on 2019 Pierre Desir here. 2019 Pierre Desir was a good one. That was a good one right there. But I get where you're going with that. I loved Isaiah Rodgers here in Indy, so I get it. So your last 2 picks are going to have to be wide receiver picks. That's what you got left.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that was only the right way to go about it.
Yeah, I have quarterback, offensive line, and running back. So I'm going to take offensive line here. And again, a hot take. It's crazy. The offensive line that allowed the least amount of sacks in the Chris Ballard era is not going to be selected by us. I'm going with the 2019 Colts offensive line. And I'll explain in our last segment why I went with the 2019 instead of 2018 or 2020. But I went with the 2019 Colts offensive line. I think it was the best offensive line the Colts had, despite how many sacks they gave up. But there's a reason why they gave up so many sacks back then as well. But yeah, 2019 Colts offensive line, I'm locking them in right there.
Man, receiver in the Chris Ballard era, a position that has escaped the man. Can't lie to you, but I'm going to go this first one because we never got to see him play with Andrew Luck, being a rookie last season. And I just feel like his skill set with an Andrew Luck style of quarterback would just be a match made in heaven. So people could say I'm crazy, but I'm going to go rookie season Alec Pierce 2022.
All right. Yeah, that was on my short list if I didn't get my top 2 guys, but obviously I got both them. Now, again, I'm going to go with a little hotter take here too, because of the quarterback I'm going to end up taking with my last selection. I don't think 2019 Marlon Mack fits me as well. I want a running back that's going to accentuate my quarterback. So I'm going to go with 2020 Nyheim Hines with the 60-plus catches, over 400 yards rushing. I think he's going to go well with the 2020 quarterback I'm going to take as well. My last spot. So 2020 Nyheim Hines as my running back.
Yeah, throwback to Frank Reich telling us that 2022 is going to be the best version of Nyheim Hines. Did not come to fruition. Did not. So this last receiver is a fun one. It's just fun to try to think who you want to go here. So I'm going to go Old Faithful in Zach Pascal. And I'm going to go 2019 Zach Pascal, 600 yards, 5 touchdown year. And if anything, I'm getting an excellent run blocker on the outside. I know that for a fact.
I love how it stops right there, though. It stops right there. That's why I took those top 2 receivers so early, because I wanted you to be stuck in this situation. I wanted poor Andrew Luck to still not get much help at wide receiver. So I just had to.
Alec
I had to
Pierce is
ruin
going to
it.
be a 1,600-yard guy with Andrew Luck. I don't know what you're talking about.
And my final pick, I'm going quarterback. I know I kind of cheated by leaving quarterback to the end. We probably should, to be fair, we should have taken the top, but the disparity was so big, I think, even between our two quarterbacks, that I felt like this is the only way I could even it out. I'm going with 2020 old man Phillip Rivers. We love Phillip Rivers. Obviously, there's nobody else that was even somewhat close to this season outside of 2018.
Brian Hoyer snubbed.
the Sam Ehlinger preseason seasons are really snubbed right there. But jumping into our selections here coming up in a second. All right, so that was a really clunky outro there, but we're going to go into our selections. We're going to talk about which players we took. Destin took 2018 Andrew Luck at quarterback. I took 2020 Phillip Rivers. Destin took 2021 Jonathan Taylor at running back. I took 2020 Nyheim Hines at wide receiver. Destin got obviously 2022 Alec Pierce, and 2019 Zach Pascal. I got 2018 TY Hilton, and 2021 Michael Pittman Jr. I also got 2017 Jack Doyle at tight end, while he got 2018 Eric Ebron. And then for offensive line, he got 2020 Colts offensive line. I got the 2019 Colts offensive line. So I think offensively our teams are pretty even across. It's just like I have better skill position players, and you have. You have the running back and the quarterback. You have the running back and the quarterback.
I think it's only fair that Phillip Rivers gets the better weapons than Andrew Luck. I think that's only fair.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, though. I want to see if you guys can follow my logic here. I wanted the 2019 Colts offensive line over 2020 or 2018 for one reason, actually. But for the main reason right here, they were healthy they did not miss. None of those starters missed a single snap throughout that whole year. So I got Costanzo, Glowinski, Braden Smith, Ryan Kelly, and Quentin Nelson all playing really well. Did not miss a snap the whole year. Destin taking the 2021. He's got that dude who got suspended for steroids late in the year playing left tackle. He's got Jamarcus Webb that came in for a couple games. Chaz Green got some snaps out there because Costanzo was injured. You know, I think it was a little risky taking that one, Destin. I'm a little scared for you.
I took the peak of 2020's offensive line is really where I'm looking at it. For example, Zach has a safety who's only going to play 5 games. But
look, those 5 games are going to be good.
Those five games are good. But then you're just having an empty man in the back on this other now 13 games.
Yes.
But in general, I just think that the peak of 2020's offensive line with a more mobile quarterback than what they had in Phillip Rivers, I think is going to also add to that offensive line playing well. But I think the top tier peak of that group is just arguably the biggest peak of any of these years.
Yeah, for sure. I was just so scared by how they finished that year with who they were starting at left tackle. Who was that left tackle they brought in the start in the playoff game? I can't even remember his name right now. That really old guy who got suspended for steroids. Jared Valdir. Was that who it was?
Yes. Yeah. It was Valdir. And then he ended up, after the Colts lost, because of like the rules, he was able to sign with the Packers and played with the Packers in that playoff season.
Yep. And then they had Will Holden starting games at left tackle. Jamarcus Webb had some snaps. Chaz Green, LaRaven Clark had some snaps I think he tore his ACL. Like it was.
We don't need to talk Chaz Green though. Like he doesn't exist.
Going over to the defense side of the ball, though, on the interior, you got 2020 DeForest Buckner. I got 2022 Grover Stewart. Off the edge, you got Denico Autry in 2018. I got 2019 Justin Houston. At linebacker, you took Zaire Franklin from 2022. And I took Shaquille Leonard from 2018. At corner, I've got I got Rock Ya-Sin and Stephon Gilmore. Rock Ya-Sin from 2021, Stephon Gilmore from 2022. You got 2021 Kenny and 2021 Isaiah. We have a lot of 2021 defense here. Like 2021 defense was good.
I'd like to imply though that it's 2021 Hard Knocks Kenny Moore.
Okay.
Hard Knocks is included. I win. So just want
that's fair. That's fair. And then at safety, you got 2022 Rodney McLeod, and I got 2017 Malik Hooker. I got 2 2017 players on here, man. I'm have faith in that team right there. But defensive wise, my defense is a little more risky. With Shaquille Leonard got the turnovers and some hiccups as a rookie, but he got a ton of turnovers and some big plays. And then you obviously got Malik Hooker on the back end, which was my riskiest pick there. But I'm loving it. But yeah, yours is kind of like your edge rush is going to be interesting we saw when Denico Autry moved to defensive end late in his Colts tenure, the Colts didn't really generate that much pass rush, but like, it's not like he was bad. It's just when you have a 280-pound guy out there at defensive end, you're not going to bend the corner too much,
Yeah, no, I mean, it was all about. I feel like the theme on my defense in general was production. You go DeForest Buckner, Denico Autry. Once you go Justin Houston, I think Denico Autry is just the obvious next guy that you can put as production on the outside. Would have loved to have a Kwity Paye breakout last year to make it to where he is the pick there, but haven't been able to see that yet. Zaire Franklin being super productive last year, Rodney McLeod being super productive last year, and then Kenny Moore and Isaiah Rodgers getting those twos both individual most productive seasons. That was just the route I had to go on defense once the star power of Shaquille Leonard was off the board.
Yeah, my defense outside of corner is about forcing turnovers. I have a Matt Eberflus style defense here. Outside of corner, like my two corners can lock it down, but outside of that, my whole defense is about forcing turnovers. Yours is about keeping everything in front outside of corner. Corner is all about the turnovers with your corners. Your corners want the turnovers. Everybody else wants to, be safe and get the tackles and get the sacks and stuff like that. My defense is going with turnovers, except my corners are saving our butts on the outside.
Hey, opposites attract. We love it. They're on the outside. To draft like a Matt Eberflus style defense in that mind and not use the word loaf at all during this episode, though, I mean, that's a sin.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying to go Matt Eberflus, but I guess when I took Shaquille Leonard from 2018, I kind of had to go a Matt Eberflus style defense.
Yeah, that started it, the domino effect.
You just need it there. And I should have got Kenny to go with that if I was going Matt Eberflus defense. But
the heart wants what the heart wants. I understood what you had to go rock. I did.
Right. But no, I think we should make a graphic of this, Destin. What do you think? Graphic design is your passion. Do you want
to? My passion.
Your passion.
I'll definitely come up with something and let everybody vote for it on Twitter.
Okay.
In my past experience of these little votes on Twitter, it starts and ends with the quarterback. So if that stays true, I should win like 80% to nothing.
I was hoping that you were going to overthink the quarterback position and be like, you know what? It's all about whoever has the biggest gap in talent here. So you want to take the biggest gap first. And is Andrew Luck to Phillip Rivers the biggest gap when you have like a Shaquille Leonard to anybody else, or you have a DeForest Buckner to Grover, which Grover's awesome, but DeForest Buckner is a pass rusher. Like I was hoping you were going to overthink it. So I started leading on that. That's why I took the receivers, because I was like, okay, those are the biggest gaps, are wide receiver to those two wide receivers to everybody else. So
I was really hoping that second receiver, you were going to wait on it a little bit. And then once you did it, I just penciled myself in that my last two picks were going to be receivers.
I was hoping you were going to like throw a changeup and not take a Zach Pascal. Like I was hoping like a Mike Strong was going to be thrown in there or something, like something fun.
Michael Strong training camp, Deion Kane.
Yes.
Hey, Deion Kane is it the USFL that he just won the championship MVP for? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Deion Kane, man, for Colts legend.
Colts legend right there. But if you guys want to join in and do something like this, we're going to post kind of the rules that we went by and kind of everything that we did with our draft. And we're going to post the results of the draft in the show notes here on YouTube and on the audio form as well. So it's a little easier to follow than just me reading off the names. You guys can actually look at the teams that we end up selecting. But yeah, I think this is something where if you guys have 3 or 4 people, it could be really fun doing something like this, because someone's going to get stuck with like the 2022 Colts offensive line. So they really have to build their team around the quick passing game. So maybe you want to get Phillip Rivers if you get that offensive line. But yeah, no, if we had more time to do this, we would have grabbed more people and it would have been like a really cool round table. We might do like a longer version of this on one of our YouTube channels. But yeah, Destin, I'm feeling good about this. I think this is the team we should roll out. I think these are the teams we should roll out this next season.
We are better general managers than Chris Ballard by using his years. I think the only way to play this game and make it even more entertaining is you have to have 6 people exactly for the 6 seasons that there are.
That would be fun.
Somebody is getting 2022 Colts offensive players, and that's what we want to see. Yeah.
Someone would get Zach Moss if you're good, though. You get Zach Moss.
Yeah. I mean, dude runs hard.
Dude runs hard. Well, guys, that's what we have for today's episode. The super fun, just kind of goofy Friday episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. And all you wonderful everydayers, again, next week, we're going to be jumping on with some more co-hosts or some other hosts of Locked On Podcasts within the AFC South and really talk about where the Colts fall in this division compared to those other teams. So you guys do not want to miss that. Set your alarms bright and early. Tuesday through Thursday. Again, I know this week was a little weird because of the holiday, but Tuesday through Thursday is where we're going to be back. And if you guys don't already, follow at Locked On Colts, at Jake Arthur NFL, and at Zach Hicks 2 on Twitter. Also, subscribe to the Locked On Colts podcast on YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast. We love your guys' ratings and reviews, and we'll see you guys bright and early next week.